Over the weekend, something was done that I think may never be done again in Pokemon Go history. Meet Dunebug97. On his resume includes former Sylph World Championship, former Arlington Regional Champion, former Milwaukee Regional Runner-Up, GBL Season Champion. The list goes on and on and on. The 2024 San Antonio Regional marked the biggest Pokemon Go regional of the North American year, and approximately one calendar year since Dunebug claimed his first ever regional championship, he was set out to repeat history in the state of Texas. In Dunebug's very first match of the tournament, he lost to Pokemango, a terrific battler from Texas. And this meant Dunebug would have to sweep out the losers bracket, not losing a single match for the rest of the tournament if he wanted to keep the Texas title. And from the words of Dunebug himself, who lacks zero confidence when it comes to Pokemon Go, if there's anyone that can do it, it's me. Dunebug made quick work of the loser bracket and into the battles found himself with an opportunity to make day two. Here against TT Ghostmaker, he suffered a very negative lead as he led his Cresselia into a Charge Bug. Dunebug safe swaps the Whiscash and calls a Body Slam bait. This is going to allow Dunebug to potentially flip this mid-game matchup and ultimately the game. As you see the back lines of Medicham and Registeel, Dunebug needs switch advantage at all costs. Scald comes through, gets a debuff onto the Lickitung. Dunebug is going to shield up the Power Whip, and now with such a severe energy advantage, is going to be able to flip this matchup and flip switch advantage on its head. TT Ghostmaker elects to come in with the Medicham, and Medicham is going to get debuffed, which allows Dunebug to get to another charge move. And now, with switch advantage being flipped, there is still a Charge Bug to deal with. However, Charge Bug, despite resisting both charge moves from Registeel, lacks a little bit of the firepower to deal with it comfortably. And as you see the Zap Cannon coming through and landing the attack debuff, now double discharge might not even be enough to knock out this Registeel. We see Dunebug contemplating the situation, able to land another Zap Cannon here. Will it pull a shield from Ghostmaker? He has no choice but to protect his Charge Bug. TT Ghostmaker saves the X-Scissor, clears the debuff on his Charge Bug, comes in with the Medicham, and will try to inflict as much damage as possible to put this Cresselia into X-Scissor range. However, Dunebug wisely manages his energy, over-farms, and is only one Psycho Cut away. Cresselia, despite taking super effective damage, can hang on relatively easily to the X-Scissor, and the Moonblast will knock out, sending Dunebug to day number 2. The task would not get any easier, as Dunebug would have to go against a murderer's row of Pokemon PvP trainers. The first being ILQM, or Elam, a player that previously had beaten Dunebug in the Baltimore Regional Championships to earn his Worlds qualification. Dunebug picks up a tremendous lead and has a very solid answer to this Vigoroth with his Cresselia resisting that counter damage. Moonblast is going to be coming through, and this will knock out the Vigoroth as Dunebug is able to retain switch advantage. Now, Elam is in a difficult spot. However, the Gligar in back could potentially pose some issues for Dunebug. Elam going to absorb all this damage from the Cresselia, put it all on the back of his Gligar with a one-wing attack head start. This head start going to allow Gligar to outpace this Altaria relatively easily. However, these Dragon Breaths are really adding up, and without a lot of health on the Gligar, it's going to be difficult for Elam to overcome that Registeel lurking in the back. Elam overfarming quite a bit, and Dunebug going to be forced to put up that first Protect Shield. Back-to-back Aerial Aces coming through. Dunebug once again puts up the Protect Shield. Combo play attempt from Elam with the Body Slam and catches the Sky Attack in the process. And now Elam manages to keep his Gligar around with enough health to hopefully land a dig onto that Registeel. Elam going to try and chip this Registeel as much as possible. commits to the Power Whip for a little bit of more damage against the Registeel, puts it at nearly half health. Now, a dig should be enough to knock out, but not if the Gligar gets debuffed, and it does. And Doonebug, infamously known for his Registeel, is going to be able to tank the dig and get to another move to secure the victory, defeating a very elite trainer in Mr. ILQM. The next meeting might be against someone familiar, and two players who are familiar with each other, having 6 meetings between the two, splitting those matchups 3-3. Rise to occasion, winning 3 consecutive against Doonebug. One might have said had his number at one point. Doone has since evened the series 3-3, and now is looking to make that an extra win to take the series lead. Don't fact check me on this. Actually, do fact check me on this because I'm curious. I think there have been no 2 players with more meetings in the Play Pokemon series than these 2 fellas right here. Now, rise to occasion, seeing that Doonebug was 4 times weak on his team to Alolan Sandslash, decided he would go for that lead. Doonebug, with a very wise team read, goes double strong against the Alolan Sandslash. The Alolan Sandslash has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Rise, trying to keep himself in this game, catches the Scald onto the Poliwrath, and this sets up a 2-shield Skeledirge in the back, which looks very scary. You might be wondering, why did Rise not even bother building to the Scald? Well, if Rise builds to the Scald, he gives Doonebug the opportunity to throw the move first and doesn't get anything off anyway. So Rise decides to settle for that, comes in with the Gligar, throws the Aerial Ace. This Skeledirge is such a menace on Doonebug's team. Rise knows he's in a difficult position as the Incinerates are going to start melting away this Steel Ice type. Puts up a shield. Switch timer is up. Rise cannot double up, and the Whiscash will Mud Bomb to secure a very convincing victory for Doonebug, which would end up being a 2-0 victory. Next up, it would be Evan, 7777, 1-3. And Evan immediately catches a tough lead, leading Whiscash into Doonebug's Cresselia. Scald comes through. Evan decides to stay in for some reason and actually takes the Grass Knot. Feels like he's better off soft losing this since he's ABA weak to the Cresselia with that Poliwrath in the back. Then eventually does swap in to the Lickitung. Moonblast coming through from Doonebug. Chunks away. In comes Altaria. Altaria versus Lickitung, a very neutral matchup. Lickitung will outpace these body slams. However, Altaria is going to chunk a little bit more with this oppressive Dragon Breath damage. Doonebug wisely over-farming, always perfectly on point with his counts, and CMP ties the Lickitung and knocks out with the Moonblast. Evan going for a big counter down, however, forced to shield the Sky Attack, is going to counter down the Altaria, come out with some energy, but this Cresselia still has a menacing amount of health to deal with. We're going to see Evan go for the catch attempt, unsuccessful, and now there is an opposing Whiscash in the back, which Doonebug can utilize to go for a big-time mud shot down, and this is going to spell a lot of trouble for Evan. That Poliwrath has a little bit over half health. A Mud Bomb is not going to be appreciated. Doonebug's going to expend his shield with all this energy. Mud Bomb doesn't quite do 50% of the remaining health, but this is so much energy on the Whiscash. In Doonebug actually going to combo with the Cresselia, has a Grass Knot loaded, and just goes for the farm down instead for another. Next up, you may have heard of Wadaj. Some achievements include NAIC champion. What else? Charlotte top 8. Hartford regional champion. Pittsburgh regional champion. Sylph world champion. List goes on and on. Worlds top 3. Yeah, just to name a few. Doonebug with a 2-0 lead. And if you look at Wadaj's team, the Altaria is very good if it avoids the Azumarill. Also, the Skeledirge essentially has no hard check on Wadaj's team. Once again, Azumarill loses the 0 shields against Skeledirge. It's not much of a hard check, more of a soft check if shields are up. And we see a favorable lead for Doonebug here. Cresselia versus Deoxys. Deoxys can hold its own in this matchup because it can live 2 charge moves and get to 3 rock slides. So this is more of a soft loss matchup for Wadaj rather than a hard loss, and he is going to stay in and play this out. Another Moonblast coming through. Puts the DD low, and Wadaj on point with his counts decides to CMP tie on the Psycho Boost. And Doonebug not going to do anything fancy here with an undercharge, just going to get rid of this Deoxys. In comes Vigoroth going for a big counter down, which could pose some trouble for Doone. However, the damage is really starting to add up. And now at this point, Doonebug actually decides to come in with his Steel type against the counter user, understanding that this energy can't really go anywhere against the Registeel. Now, what is Wadaj going to decide to do here? He's going to build up, and throwing these body slams maybe would have been better served swapping into the Gligar, but no, is going to unload another body slam and has energy remaining for this Altaria. Has the back-to-back body slam, but Doonebug going to start committing some Protect Shields. Gets to the Rock Slide, which may indeed draw a final shield from Doonebug. A little bit of a mistap there. And oh my goodness, Doonebug going straight for the Moonblast, connects on the Gligar. Gligar is going to need to get to 3 Aerial Aces here, and Wadaj recognizing he doesn't think it's going to be able to, and goes for the dig as a bit of a sportsmanship, conceding the game. And that is a 3-0 sweep for Doonebug against who many consider one of the top 1 or 2 players in the world in Wadaj. Now, after going through players the likes of Ayamero, Pokemango, Elam, Rise to Occasion Wadaj, it all comes down to this. A bracket has been reset. Doonebug against Arrow in a decisive Game 5 to decide the San Antonio Regional Champion. We see Gligar versus Poliwrath here, and unfortunately for Arrow, he ran ABA weak to the Whiscash of Doonebug, so a very brutal lead for Arrow. He's forced to come in here and try and do as much as he can. Carbink's trying to absorb the energy, and Doonebug already recognizing that this one is over. Unfortunately, in the very decisive game, it came down to a bit of an RPS style game. And sometimes you might be wondering why run such a risky line if you're Arrow. Well, sometimes you feel like that's your best shot, is making a call, and that is sometimes Arrow's style, is going that ABA strategy rather than the standard and more prototypical ABB. Registeel in here. Arrow has stopped tapping and recognized that Doonebug has this one. Carbink, nothing it can really do here against Registeel. Doonebug laughing and then celebrates with a bit of a Mario jump. Not sure what that was, Doom. Maybe we need to work on the celebrations for a little more style, but he can do whatever he wants. He's the champion, and Doonebug actually was able to secure a 14-match winning streak after losing Game 1 and becomes one of only a few 2-time regional champions in the Pokemon Go PvP scene. Congrats to Doonebug, and a streak that, let me know in the comments, may or may not ever be done again. Rise will appear for the final seconds. That wasn't Editor Chris talking. And yeah, I think Elite from California nearly did the same when he lost his round 2 matchup of the day, ended up going on an 11 or 12 match winning streak. Dancing Rob, of course, famously was on the loser side of day 2, won the whole world championship the first season. 23 EJB was on loser side day 2 and won a regional championship. No one has ever lost their first match of the day and then won 14 consecutive matches. Don't think that'll be done ever again, or at least for a very long time. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bit of a different style. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Comment down below. All comments are appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And all that said, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.